Welcome to Innovative Brains. Today we will learn chapter number 5, which is Opposition Proceedings to Grant of Patents. Opposition proceedings in the patent process allow third parties to challenge the grant of patent. There are two types of opposition: pre-grant opposition and post-grant opposition. First one is pre-grant opposition. Section number 25, subsection 1, form number 7A and rule number 55. Under section 25(1) of the Patent Act, any person, including the government, can oppose a patent application before it is granted. This is done by filing a pre-grant opposition using form number 7A. Grounds for pre-grant opposition. First one is wrongful obtaining of the invention. If the invention was wrongfully obtained by the applicant from the another person, it can be opposed. Second one is anticipation by prior publication. If the invention has already been published anywhere in the world before the filing date, it lacks novelty and can be opposed. Third one is prior public knowledge or public use in India. If the invention was already known or used publicly in India before the patent application was filed, it can be opposed. Fourth one is obviousness or lack of inventive step. If the invention is obvious to a skilled person and lacks innovation, it can be opposed. Fifth one is non-patentable subject matter. That is section number 3 and section number 4 of the Patent Act. Certain inventions such as scientific theories or inventions related to atomic energy are not patentable. If the invention falls under these categories, it can be opposed. Sixth one is insufficient disclosure of the invention. If the patent application does not fully explain how the invention works, making it difficult for others to replicate it, it can be opposed. And last one is non-compliance with section number 8, that is foreign applications. If the applicant does not provide information about corresponding foreign patent applications, which is required under section number 8, the application can be opposed. For section number 8, it's important to understand that the applicant must inform the Indian Patent Office about patent applications for the same invention filed in other countries. If they fail to do so or provide incorrect information, this can be a ground for opposition. Next, pre-grant opposition process. First one is filing form number 7A. If someone wants to oppose a patent application, they must file out form number 7A. Along with this, they need to submit a written statement and any evidence supporting their opposition. Second one is notice to applicant. Once the opposition is filed, the controller of patents notifies the patent applicant about it. Third one is reply from the applicant. The applicant then gets a chance to respond to the opposition with their own counter arguments. Fourth one is decision by the controller. After reviewing both sides, the controller of patents can decide to, first one is refuse the patent, means if the opposition has strong grounds. Second one is ask for changes, amendments to the application, or third one is grant the patent if they find the opposition is not valid. Second one is post grant opposition, which is section number 25(2), form number 7 and rule number 55A, which allows any interested person to challenge the grant of patent within 12 months after it has been granted. This is an important mechanism in patent law to ensure that only valid patents are upheld. Grounds for post-grant opposition. The grounds for opposition are similar to those of pre-grant opposition. First one is invention not new, means prior publication. If the invention was already published or publicly known before the patent application, the patent can be opposed as it lacks novelty. Second one is invention is obvious or lacks an inventive step. If the invention is something that any skilled person in the field could have easily thought of without needing any special inventive effort, it can be challenged. Third one is non-patentable subject matter. Certain subjects cannot be patented, such as inventions that violate public order or morality, or specific types of software or business methods. If the patented invention falls under these categories, it can be opposed. Fourth one is insufficient description of the invention. A patent needs to describe the invention in enough detail for others in the field to understand and replicate it. If this description is unclear or incomplete, the patent can be challenged. Fifth one is incorrect mention of the inventor. If the wrong person is named as the inventor or the actual inventor is not credited, the patent may be opposed on these grounds. And sixth one is prior public use. If the invention was publicly used or disclosed before the patent application, for example, demonstrated or sold, it can be opposed as it will no longer be considered new. This process helps ensure that the patents are granted fairly and only for genuine and innovative inventions. Next is process for post-grant opposition. The post-grant opposition process allows someone to challenge a granted patent within 12 months of its publication. First step is filing opposition through form number 7. The opponent, means the person challenging the patent, must submit form number 7 within 12 months after the patent grant is published. Second one is notice and statement of opposition. Along with form number 7, the opponent provides reasons, means statement explaining why the patent should not have been granted. Third one is response by patentee. The patent holder, means the patentee, has a set time to reply to the opponent's claims. Fourth one is hearing. If needed, a hearing is arranged where both the opponent and the patentee can argue their cases. Fifth one is opposition board. A panel of 3 members, usually patent examiners, is formed to review the case. And sixth one, board recommendation. The board investigates the opposition and gives its opinion to the controller, means the authority overseeing patents. And last is controller's decision. Based on the board's recommendation, the controller can, first one is maintain the patent as it is, second one is amend the patent by modifying its claims, or third one is revoke, means cancel the patent entirely. This process helps ensure that patents granted meet legal and technical standards. Next are rules. Rule 55 and Rule 55A. Rule 55 and Rule 55A of the patent rules explain how someone can oppose a patent during the process of getting it approved. First one is Rule 55A, opposition to the patent. After a patent application is published, but before it is officially granted, anyone can challenge it. This is known as pre-grant opposition. To oppose a patent, the person has to fill out form number 7A and include documents supporting their case. However, the controller, means the patent office official, will only consider the opposition if the patent application has been requested for examination. In that first, if there isn't a strong case, means prima facie case, the opposition is dismissed. And second one, if a valid case is found, the applicant, means a person applying for the patent, is informed and given a chance to respond. Both sides provide their evidence and arguments, and the controller makes the final decision on whether to approve or reject the patent. Next is rule number 55A, notice of opposition. If a patent is granted, it can still be opposed under section number 25(2). This is called post-grant opposition. The person challenging the patent must submit a form number 7 with 2 copies to the controller at the correct patent office. In summary of this, first one is pre-grant opposition. You can oppose a patent after it's published but before it's granted. Rule number 55. And second one, post-grant opposition. You can oppose it even after the patent is granted using a notice. Rule number 55A. Opposition process as per the rules. First one is rule number 56, formation of the opposition board. An opposition board is set up to review the opposition case and the proceedings are guided by the controller's instructions. Second one is rule number 57, opponent's written statement and evidence. The person opposing the patent must submit a written statement and any evidence supporting their opposition. Third one is rule number 58, applicant's reply. The patent applicant can respond to the opposition by submitting their own written statement and evidence. Fourth one is rule number 59, opponent's additional evidence. After seeing the applicant's reply, the opponent can submit more evidence to strengthen their case. Fifth one is rule 60, further evidence with controller's permission. Any extra evidence beyond the standard submissions needs the controller approval before it can be added. Sixth one is rule 61, document copies. Copies of all the documents submitted in the opposition process must be shared with the opponent and the applicant. Seventh one is rule 62, hearing. If either party requests it, a hearing will be held where both sides can present their arguments in person. And last one is rule 63, decision on costs. The controller decides who will cover the cost of proceedings if necessary. Next is section number 26. Section number 26 of the Patent Act 1970 deals with cases where someone, the opponent, claims that the invention in the patent was actually taken or obtained from them. First one is if the entire invention was taken from opponent. The controller can cancel the current patent and give the ownership to the opponent if they formally request it. This means the opponent will become the rightful patent owner. Second one is if only part of the invention was taken from the opponent. The controller can make changes to the patent by removing the part that was taken from the opponent. So, the patent remains valid but only for the parts that weren't copied. Third one is if the opponent has already applied for a patent for the same invention. The opponent's application will get the same priority date as the current patent, meaning their application will be treated as if it was filed on the same day as the current patent holder's application. However, for other steps in the patent process, their application will continue like a regular one. This ensures that if someone's invention was wrongly taken and patented by someone else, they can still claim ownership. Rule 63A. Rule 63A explains how you can ask for a patent to be transferred to your name if you believe the invention was originally yours but someone else got the patent. First one is if you think someone else got a patent for your invention, you can request a transfer by submitting form number 12. Second one is you have to file this request within 3 months from the date the patent authority, means the controller, makes an order related to this matter. Third one is along with form number 12, you need to provide a clear explanation of why you think the invention is yours and what action you want, such as transferring the patent to you. Next is section number 52. Section number 52 of the Patent Act deals with situations where a patent was fraudulently obtained by someone other than the true inventor. First one is revoking the fraudulent patent. If it's proven that someone wrongfully got a patent that should have belonged to the true inventor, the court or an appellate board can either, first one is cancel, means revoke the entire patent, or second one, give the true inventor full or partial rights to the patent. Second one is granting a new patent to the true inventor. The true inventor can ask the controller to issue them a new patent. This new patent will either, first one, have the same date and number as the original revoked patent if the entire invention is granted to the true inventor. Second one is get a new number if only a part of invention is granted. Third one is requirements for the new patent. The controller may request the true inventor to provide a new detailed description of their invention before granting the patent. Fourth one is no claim for past infringements. The true inventor cannot claim damages or sue anyone for infringing the patent before this new patent was issued. In other words, they can't go after anyone for violations that happened before they officially got the new patent. This section ensures that the true inventor has a fair chance to regain their rights, but without punishing others for something that wasn't illegal at the time. Rule 79 outlines the steps for requesting a patent based on a court order as per section 52 subsection 2 of the Patent Act. First one is request form and timeline. In that, to make a request you need to use form number 12 and you must submit the request within 3 months from the date of court or appellate board order. Second one is required documents. Your request should include a statements of facts explaining why you are making the request. Second one is the relief or remedy you are seeking. Third one is a certified copy of the court or appellate board order. Third one is partial patent grants. If the court only grants a patent for part of your invention, that part will get a new patent number following the usual numbering system for patents granted on the same day. In short, Rule 79 provides the form, deadline, and documents you need to request a patent based on a prior court order and explains how partial patent grants are handled. Next is section number 28. Section number 28 is regarding the mention of inventor in a patent application. First one is recognition of inventor. If the patent authority, means the controller, believes that a person has invented something or a part of it and that the patent application is based on their invention, that inventor's name will be included in the patent and the official patent register. Second one is who can request. Either the person applying for the patent or the inventor, if they are different, can ask for the inventor's name to be included. Third one is claims of invention. If someone else thinks they are the inventor, they can also request to be recognized. Fourth one is timing of request. Any request or claims about who should be named as the inventor must be made before the patent is officially granted. Fifth one is dispute resolution. If there is a disagreement about who should be named as the inventor, the controller will communicate with everyone involved and listen to their opinions before making a decision. And sixth one is corrections of errors. If it turns out that someone was incorrectly listed as the inventor, the controller has the authority to correct the patent records. This section ensures that inventors are properly recognized and that any disputes about inventorship are handled fairly. Last one are rules related to section number 28. First one is Rule 66, request to claim inventorship. What is the purpose? This rule outlines how to formally request recognition as the inventor of patent. A specific form known as form number 8 must be used for this request. Second one is Rule 67, claim to be mentioned as an inventor. What is the purpose? This rule allows individuals to claim their right to be recognized as inventors in the patent documents. It specifies that the form that needs to be used for this claim. Third one is Rule 68, applications for correction of inventorship omission. What is the purpose? If there's an error regarding who is listed as the inventor, this rule allows for correction and a specific format is required for submitting the application as outlined in section number 28 subsection 7. Rule number 69, hearing procedure for claims or application. What is the purpose? This rule describes the process for conducting hearings related to inventorship claims or applications. It ensures that there is a clear procedure to follow when disputes or issues arise regarding who is recognized as the inventor. Next is rule number 70, official mention of the inventor. This rule outlines how inventor should be officially recognized in patent documents. Format for mentioning inventor. The wording used should be like the inventor of this invention or substantial part of this invention within the meaning of section number 28 of the Patent Act 1970 is name of address. Rule 70 and last one is Rule 70A, certificate of inventorship. In this, the inventors can request a formal certificate proving their status as the inventor. To obtain this certificate, the inventor must submit form number 8A along with the required fees specified in the first schedule. This certificate serves as official acknowledgement of the inventor's contribution to the patent.